Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the confusing world of corporate finance. And, sometimes companies really know how to twist words, but we're here to find the real story. Today we're diving into a filing from ARV, that's a bit of an update, a Form 8K CAS, with Amendment Number 1. This report is about a significant agreement ARVANA made, and it definitely has some interesting implications for how they plan to raise money. We're going to break down what this deal means for them, what kind of cash they're looking to bring in, and some of the risks involved. So stick around, because sometimes the most important business news comes in these less flashy filings. And before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you love getting straight answers from these corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where we chat about these filings as they come out. So what's the big news for ARVANA INC? This filing tells us they've entered into a material definitive agreement. Think of it as a big deal, a contract that really matters for the company's future. This agreement is with a company called Generating Alpha Limited, and it's essentially a stock purchase agreement. What Generating Alpha Limited is agreeing to do is buy stock from ARVANA INC up to a massive $100 million. That's a lot of cash. Now, the interesting part here is how this works. ARVANA can decide when they want to sell their stock, which they call a put. Basically, they can ask Generating Alpha to buy their shares. And Generating Alpha isn't buying it at just any price, they're buying it at 96% of what's called the market price. The market price is figured out by looking at the average trading price over the 20 days before ARVANA decides to sell. So it's not a fixed price, but it is tied to what the stock has been doing lately in the market. There are rules about how much they can sell each time. The smallest amount ARVANA can ask for is $20,000, and the most they can sell in one go is 3 times their average daily trading volume. And Generating Alpha can't end up owning more than 4.99% of ARVANA's NASWA shares at any point. This is a common way for companies to raise capital without immediately flooding the market with their stock or letting one investor gain too much control too quickly. But it's not all free money for ARVANA. They have to pay a commitment fee for this deal. This fee is paid in ARVANA's own stock. The first part is 1.5% of half the total commitment amount. Then, after ARVANA has used up half of that $100 million, they have to pay another 1.5% fee, again in stock. If issuing all that stock would mean they give away more than 4.99% of their company, the extra amount is given as a warrant. A warrant is basically an option to buy stock later at a set price. Now let's talk about what ARVANA thinks might happen. Like most companies, they have a section which we call forward-looking statements. This is where they talk about their future plans and what they expect. They use words like could, should, will, and may to signal that these are just expectations, not guarantees. And they're very clear that these future predictions are full of risks. They mention things like ongoing reviews of their internal accounting controls, which sounds like they might have had some issues there. They also talk about securing more capital, the possibility of not being able to continue as a going concern, which is a serious warning sign, and their ability to keep up with NASDAQ listing rules and file their reports on time. That mention of the bid price requirement is quite important. It usually means the stock price has to stay above a certain level, often $1, to remain listed on an exchange like NASDAQ. If they can't meet this, they could be delisted, which is a big problem. Being current with their SEC reports is also a big deal. If a company isn't filing on time, it raises major red flags for investors and regulators. They also point to risks discussed in their previous annual report, which means you'd have to go back and read that too, to get the full picture of potential trouble. They're essentially telling us that while they have this new funding agreement, there are still many hurdles they need to jump over. The report is signed by James Kim, the Chief Executive Officer of ARVANA INC. This means the top boss is aware of and approving of the information in this filing, including the new funding deal and the stated risks. The date of this report is late August 2025, but it's an amendment to an earlier report. The original event it's reporting on, the stock purchase agreement, happened earlier in August 2025. So let's put it all together with a Warren Buffett style analysis. ARVANA INC is entering into a significant agreement to sell up to $100 million of its stock. This is a way for them to get much needed cash. However, the terms are interesting. They can demand the sale but at a discount to the market price, and they have to pay commitment fees in stock. Also signals their current cash situation. They're using their own stock as currency to keep operations going. ARVANA INC, their stock exchange listing specifically mentioning the bid price requirement. This indicates the company is likely facing financial difficulties. They need this cash infusion not just for growth but potentially to survive. The fact that they have to pay commitment fees in stock also signals their current cash situation. They're using their own stock as currency to keep operations going. This funding deal, while potentially a lifeline, needs to be watched very closely. If the company can't address the underlying issues that are causing them, this funding deal, while potentially a lifeline, needs to be watched very closely. If the company can't address the underlying issues that are causing them to flirt with the going concern warning, even earn 100 millions might... Alright, that's a breakdown of ARVANA INC's latest filing. What's your take on this funding deal and what it spells for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.